talking to you from Newfoundland, Canada. I think it's April 2nd, Sunday, and I'm just doing a summary of what I did in March, what I could do in March. So I'm going to start with the Pogona shawl from Stephen West. It's not, it's 3 fingering skeins, and okay, and this is what I had left over from both skeins. So from my second skein and on my third skein. I love the shawl. The only thing is when I was choosing working where to stop on the last one, he said 71 centimeters, and that would definitely not, I would not have enough. I think I got 62 or 64 centimeters from the first one here, something like that. But I was weighting the yarn as I was going to see how much fiber it took me to do each row, and it was taking, like, for 2 rows it was taking me like 8 grams or something. So I stopped, and when I had a certain amount of yarn, I think I had 40 something grams of yarn, and I needed to do 2 more rows and also the 3 final rows. I haven't blocked it yet. I do want to block, but because Stephen West shawls are so big, I'm planning to buy some blockers, because normally what I do is I put a towel on the table and then I put the whatever on the top of the shawl. But first of all, I don't have a big table anymore, and second, his shawls are humongous, so I need a blocker to do it. I love the shawl. I think it's very, very beautiful, and I think I enjoyed knitting it. It's an easy knit. You have some purls and knits, so that changes a little bit, but you do not have a pattern by your side once you know what you're doing. So I wish I had a color degradation that would be more in sync, but that's the yarn I had, and I really wanted to do it, so I'm pretty happy anyway. So this was this first finished object that I would like to talk about today. The second finished project is from Knit Scene. Let me see here. It was Spring Knits, but I think this was 2000 and I don't know, but this is the magazine. And what I did was this, let me see, this crop sweater for my daughter. The problem is that I didn't do a sample. So I had some yarn that I had bought at a Value Village. It was a mohair yarn, and I did the thing, and it was extremely fast, really, really fast to knit because it's cropped, ultra cropped. But I think when I washed it, instead of enlarging it, it kind of shrunk, and it was too tight on my daughter. So we're gonna have to find a child to give that to because it's too small. But that was my, we went to Toronto, we went to Michigan in March, so we spent 3 weeks on the road, mostly on the road, because it's 4 days to get to Michigan plus 1 day on a ferry boat, because it's 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours, and then you drive just a little bit. And I think in 3 days I finished this because it was pretty easy, but unfortunately it didn't fit her. So life, that's not we can do. The other finished project, so I had, this is my third finished project. This is really for my son. If you see, the sleeves are long, and I haven't blocked, but I'm going to block it with the steam iron, so it's going to be slow. And it has a space here, as you can see, because my son has more space in the top area because he likes to exercise. So when I block it, it's going to grow a little bit. And even if it doesn't grow, it has a lot of space. I do love the sweater. Let me just get it here. Which sweater it is. Shoot, sorry. Just 1 second. And I'm going to get it. It's the Weatherman sweater. And it is Lydia, I don't know how to say her name. But this is the sweater. It's very beautiful. It's an easy knit. And it's nice. So I was very happy with it. It's all hand spun, that I hand spun thinking of my son. So the gray, I wanted to be black. It didn't turn out black, so it was a lot of dye, and it felt it a little bit when I was rinsing. And that's the other reason why I'm going to block it with the steam, because then there's no running water or anything. But I really love it. It's warm. It's very warm, but it's nice. So I had 3 finished objects this month, and they were in my list, because what I did in the beginning of the year, I put some projects on my list, on my Knit Companion, and I'm going through them as I go. So now, works in progress that I have been working on. So this is my skifty. Let me get the picture here to show. This is a Kate Daves design that I bought on her club last year, and we got the patterns. I like it very much. And not only I bought the club, but I bought the yarn from her. And the yarn is really, really nice. I mentioned before, it is, let me see if I have it here. Let me get the label because it's a hard to pronounce name. It is Skidalian or something like that, and it is 70% Corriedale and 30% Cheviot, and it's a very, very nice yarn. So I think I have enough, and I'm knitting this on my Friday Zoom meetings at Discord with my Portuguese group, but I was already here when I noticed a line of blue, only one side. So I think what happened is that when I was talking or whatever, I stopped it and I changed the dominant color. So in one side I had a line, so I had no choice. I had to undo more or less this much, and now I'm growing again. But I'm going slowly at it because it's an easy pattern, but it becomes boring so easy it is. So slowly, when I don't want to think much, I take this color work to do. So at this point, it's okay. It's easy to make. I'm making the size large. I don't know if it will fit me, but I'm not very concerned about it because at this time I have a lot of sweaters. So this is one work in progress. The other work progress that I started is this sweater. The funny thing is I bought this book to make this sweater, but this is my third one, and I'm going to try to do this one now. But I got the Debbie Bliss yarn, and it wasn't giving me the gauge. The gauge there that they say you have two options, 22 stitches or 13 stitches or 14 stitches. And this is giving me 18 stitches, so neither nor. And also, this is to use a needle number 5. The pattern tells you to use a needle number 6, but I didn't like the fabric. So I'm using, for the collar work, a needle 5.5. And for the straight collar, the rib I did 4, but for when I'm knitting, normally I'm going to use a 4.5 instead of a 6. So I'm recalculating it. It looks small here, but it's because it's all stretched. But I like the collars. I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough yarn, because I have, there they say that I needed 100 grams of this collar, and I have 100 grams. But because the gauge is all different, I don't know. But worst comes to worst, I have to order more online. And I'm keeping the labels, so it's all good. But I like it. It's gonna be very bright. But because the main color is blue instead of the thing. But I couldn't resist starting with it. This yarn has 33% synthetic, and I don't know if it's because of the synthetic that it's feeling like more like cotton than wool. So I have a feeling it's not going to be as warm as this sweater that I'm wearing anyway. This is for my son. I'm just putting it today. But you can see it's large on me. So it should be okay on him on this part. So, and he liked it. So I sent him a picture and he liked it. So these are the two work in progress. Then maybe projects that I'm going to work on in April, besides the two work in progress that I have. So I had gone, before we came to, last year, before we came to Newfoundland, I went to Knit 3 Together. There is my store in Huntsville that we had, I had bartered some bags with her. She still has one, by the way, if somebody's interested. And the thing is, I got these two yarns thinking of using them together, because it would be a fast knit and okay. But then my son said something that I figured he would like, a sweater that would be lighter in weight. So I went on the internet and I bought one more, because what I wanted to do is the Maxir base sweater. I was watching one of the Le Garçon podcasts and he was wearing this. I like it without the pocket. I don't like with the pocket. And you can see. Oh, shit. Okay, so. So I wanted to make the Maxir sweater for my son. I saw it on the podcast Le Garçon and I really liked it. So I went to Knit 3 Together, and she ships, she sells through the internet too. So I didn't have enough of this Superba alpaca luxury yarns. I had 1200 meters and I needed more. So I bought two more skeins of this thing, and I bought a needle cable. But I'm so bad for needle cables. I don't know why, but I bought the wrong one. Lucky for me, in this trip to Toronto, we had to go to Sprucedale to get something that my husband had left behind. And I decided that I was going to get one more skein of this, because I had three that would be 1200 meters. So I decided to get one more. This is the Stelle, and it is 54% baby alpaca, 24% mulberry silk, and 22% silk mohair, kid silk mohair. So this is very nice and soft. And when I first did my sample, because my idea was to put them together, I did the sample and it's very soft. So, but I thought I'm gonna wear it for something else. And then I did a sample of this alpaca luxury socks to make the sweater. And I don't know if it's the gauge is higher than the gauge he has. And I don't know if it's because the needle was tight that it's not as soft. But the moment I put the baby alpaca here, it changes. So I'm revisiting the idea of what I'm going to do, what I'm going to need for Pedro. I think he likes the color, and I think he's gonna like the blended anyway. It's just that maybe, or I will try to do that sweater but with a higher gauge. But the problem when you're knitting, for me at least, when you're doing a sweater with a higher gauge, or that the gauge doesn't match, because Max Cyr, I did a sweater for Mihai from him, the single malt, and his measurements were spot on. Everything he said, I thought, oh, it's not going to work. It worked fine. So it's perfect. And that's why I wanted to use his stuff, because Pedro is not here. But if you start changing the gauge, then you have to do some calculations, and it would help if he were here, but he's not. So I'm not so sure how I'm going to work on this. I guess this is pretty much. Oh, I also went to my sister, because my sister is moving back to Brazil, and so I got some fiber that I had sewed her, and some fiber that I had given her to make rugs and stuff, and she was giving me this stuff back. And also she has bought a lot of cardigans on thrift stores to make cushions, covers, and she even cut the sleeves because she was going to do it. And now she's leaving. She never did it, of course, and she's not going, so she left this. And this is 55% nylon, 40% Angora rabbit hair, and 5% lamb's wool. And the color is so beautiful, and it's a thick yarn. So I'm gonna try to unravel this and make some hats. Angora is normally way hotter than wool, so this is gonna be a very hot hat. These are going to make hot hats. And we have a big fishing community here, so, and they said they were going to take us fishing with them in the summer. So I thought that it would be a nice gift to give if I make some hats. And they're going to be very warm. So this is a project that I have to start working on. And the other thing I almost forgot is that I got my Mary Wallen project, this purchase. I bought it in February, and it got here when I was traveling. And this is for the Primrose. And that's how it comes. It comes in a Mary Wallen bag. And I'm not going to take them all out, but you can see all the colors, almost all the colors here. So I'm excited about this, but this was extremely expensive. It was not cheap to start with, but once it came here, I also had to pay customs, to clear the customs, $47. So that was quite a lot. Like, I got this from Kate Daves, and I didn't have a tracking number, but it arrived to my door. I didn't pay any customs to clear this. And this one, there was a tracking number, but I don't know if it's because Kate Davis ships it not as a business, or I don't know. I had to pay customs for this one. So that makes it not possible to buy other kits from her, at least not from here. If I am in the UK, I would definitely go for it. The yarn is also not as soft as the Kate Davis one. Is more rustic, but I was expecting this, so that's okay. The colors are really pretty. So you see, it's nice. They are like more like a pastel color, and I got the gauge exactly as she mentioned. But as you can see, this pattern is going to take me a while, so I plan it not to do it that fast. So I'm happy, but it was expensive. It was my birthday, so it's all good. Got a lot of fiber this year. So from now on, I'm not going to buy any more fiber until the end of the year, unless I go to a show, but I'm not planning to go to any show. So that was it. The trip was exhausting because I also had to work at the end of the day, and I'm not capable to do that. I made a few mistakes, and that stresses me even more. So to do a trip like this, that we were 5 days on the road each way, to stay there 5 days was a little bit too much for me and for my husband and for the dogs. But I saw my children, he saw his children. We went to my sister, said goodbye. My other sister was there from Brazil visiting her. So I had the opportunity to be with both of them. So it was a positive. Oh, I bought a lot of wool. So it was a very positive trip in general. It's just that it's too tiring. For the film at the end, we don't have much footage this time, but when we were going south, there are some mountains near Porto Basques, that is where you get the ferry, that are very, very pretty, and they were covered with snow this time. We don't get as much snow on this side of the island as they get on their side, thankfully. It's a nice thing, but it was really beautiful. So I hope Mihai can do get some good footage to put there. I also would like to say that now there are 3 Portuguese podcasters that normally podcast in Portuguese that started to podcast in English too. And I'm going to leave a link. One is Mariana from Meias Marias. The other is Nana from Mãos de Vera. And the other is Bonit, Carolina from Bonit. Carolina is a designer for the tile top that I knitted for Paula last year. It's a very nice top, and Nana is also a designer now. She will be soon releasing a new pattern. She had sock patterns before. I want to make some of them, but I think it's interesting. Like, I like to watch podcaster from different countries. So I have somebody in Argentina that I follow. I have one person in Brazil that I follow. I have lots of people in Portugal that I follow. I have one Spanish person from Spain. So I think it's interesting to see what these people are going through in the different cultures. So I'm going to leave a link below. And if you are interested, I think it's a great thing. You should go there and check it out. Mariana I think she's going to do now every month in English and in Portuguese. Nana makes it like she makes a few in Portuguese and then she makes one in English. And Bonitza, I don't know what frequency she will be doing, but I think it's very interesting. So if you're curious, just go and take a look. I'll leave the link below. For the rest, I hope you're happy, that you're having a nice time with your knitting, with your life in general. And see you soon. Big kiss. Bye.